So you know what they say about a man that's tested a big tent, right? He needs a big water testing system. So here's my original system here. I went out and I upgraded to a 2-hose system. I got a Y splitter, which is back there connected to one of the original hoses. I bought another hose and another shower head. I don't know what you call that. Hose head adapter? Something like that. Built another tripod. So now we have dual rainmakers. This is gonna work great. Hey everybody, welcome back to Adventures with Spackmann. Today, we're testing out the Luxe Twinpeak. Not just testing it, we're rain testing it, checking its waterproofness. So like I said in the last video of the setup of this, I am really excited about this tent. I've wanted it since they first hit the market with it, and now I have it. I'm really hoping that it does well in the waterproof test. Yesterday it was raining almost all day. After 3 hours of constant rain, I came out and I checked it, and here's some footage from that last night. All right, so I was out here earlier and I saw all this condensation. So unless I see an active leak, I can't say that it's leaking because the whole thing is covered in condensation. There is a river coming through here. That's awesome. I don't know, guys. This is looking good for the Spackmann Water Torture test. It's been raining a lot today. Oh, I don't know. What's that? Oh, no, that's not water. That's, I thought, you see that right there? I thought that was a drip, but it's not. That's just seam tape. Even the stove jack is looking good. Wow, guys, this might be a good one. All right, guys, tomorrow's the water test. We'll see how it does tomorrow. So far tonight, it's doing well. I gotta say, I'm impressed. So I'm pretty optimistic about this water test today. It did well last night. But before we get into the water test, somebody had asked me if I could put some cots in there and see how spacious it is inside. So let's go inside and check this out. All right, so point of view. You guys are in the doorway, opposite end of the stove jack. Right in front of you is a low profile cot. And then I have 3 Coleman Deluxe cots right here, right in the middle. Could you fit 4 cots in here? Obviously you could. Would it be crammed? It sure would. So you'd want to be very close to the people that you're sleeping next to right here. If you're sleeping on sleeping pads, there'd be much more room. You know, forget about the cots, just throw some pads down. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna move these sideways, just like that first cot that's in that first vestibule, and see if they'll fit sideways and see how much room we have then. My idea is if you have 4 people in here, during the day when you're not sleeping, you'd pick up your beds, get them tucked away into this vestibule, and have this as a sitting area during the day to relax, play games, and eat and hang out in. And then put your beds back out for nighttime and go to sleep. So let's move these cots. All right, so right now, it's all 4 of them side by side. It actually gives you, there's more room, I feel like, on the ends. You're not as close to the walls. And plus, this can be pulled out too with the guy outs. Same with this side, that can get pulled out too, so you have more room. This is a 4 cot tent, guys. This, you can see it. I have 4 cots in here. Low profile cots would fit even better. So this is a 4 cot tent, guys. Wow. Now the far cot is against that pole, and this one is, now it's against the pole. Right now I have about 18 inches in between these 2 cots where my legs are right now. 4 cots, guys. 4 cots. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And that's why we do these videos. So you guys know, so I know. 2 cots. 2 cots, there's plenty of room in here, guys. Two-person tent, 3 people, definitely 3 people too. All right, guys, let's get this water going. All right, so since there's no floor in this, I'm actually gonna have to hang out in there for an hour just to make sure if it leaks throughout that hour during the rain test, I see it, because you really never know. If I can't see the leak after it's leaked, then you can't know that it's leaking. So I'm gonna set up the water, I'm gonna set up the time lapse with you guys outside, and then I'm gonna head into the tent. I left 1 cot in there for me to sit down in, maybe even lay down. I don't know what I'm gonna do for an hour, but I'm gonna chill inside that tent. Oh, so yesterday it was all condensation. You guys saw that a little earlier. I left it open all day today and it aired right out and there's no more condensation on the inside. So any water that appears on the inside is gonna be condensation from this test or from me breathing or leaking. So you guys know the drill. I'm gonna set the water test up for an hour. I'm not gonna check in at the 30-minute mark because I'm gonna be in there. If something happens during this 1 hour time lapse, I will come out and I'll get the camera and I'll show you what's going on and then I'll set the time lapse back up. Other than that, I'm gonna set the time lapse up for an hour and then now let's get the water going. I don't like the new shower head. I want my old one back. All right, guys, I think I got it. Got that peak getting it. This peak getting it. Let's go check the other side. Hi guys, I'm going inside for an hour. Let's check the time so I know. It's not a stopwatch. It's currently 40 degrees outside and it's 2:16. So at 3:16 I'll be back with you guys. Unless something happens. So time lapse starts now. All right guys, it's only been a little over 10 minutes, 11 minutes. But we have leaks. Right in here, this seam, right where it stops, this whole thing's leaking. You can see it on the screen, on the mesh. Oh, you can see it leaking down there too. Let me see if I can zoom in. There it is. That's coming down from the mesh. And then the other problem area where the seam tape stops is leaking back in here too. And I saw it dripping. I saw it dripping in here. Up there's some water. Right here. Both doors. I noticed the same thing on both doors. Not as much, but both doors are leaking. The only other leaks I'm seeing, I don't know if you can consider them leaks, but it's this bottom seam here. I don't even think that's seam taped. I don't see why they would. It's the bottom seam. But that one's leaking almost all the way around. Let's go set the time lapse back up for another, well now it's 2:30, so we got another 45 minutes. All right, let's get you back on the tripod. Oh, and it's not getting any less slippery. Oh man, that's cold water in the face. All right, half hour mark. I was laying down in here, just enjoying the rain. Sun was shining. It actually started warming up the tent. It's up to 50 degrees in here now. But we have an issue. That's on the inside, guys. Oh, there's another one. Right from this peak. And that is set up right. That is right in the crotch. Same with this one. They're both pitched correctly. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm actually, I'm a half hour in. I'm gonna stop the test and wrap up this video with my final thoughts. All right, so I'm sorry if you guys are a little disappointed that I cut this test a little short, but I kind of feel like I saw everything I needed to see, right? So I don't know if I could pass this or fail it. I had to go back to the instructions that came with the tent to see what it said, and let me read it one more time. We recommend users to apply seam sealer to zipper seams of outer fly, which we saw those leaking. We actually saw where the seam tape just stops. I feel like they could have just continued that seam tape and it would have been fine, but I don't know. But those need to be sealed. Same with going down the door, the top of the door and going down the door. Both of those are zipper seams, so they said that you have to seal them. Makes sense, so we have to seal it. This is what I had to check though. Next line, Velcro stitching lines and certain points on inner tent corners in order to obtain better waterproof results in the tent. I'm assuming those are the corners that they're talking about, the crotches. Can I pass it? Because it only leaks in the spots where it told us it's gonna leak? Or do I fail it because it leaked? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments down below. I kind of think it passed. It only leaked where it told us it was gonna leak, which is great. It did tell us that we have to seam seal those spots. So that's great. Good for you, Luxe, for telling us that there's a problem with the seam sealer and you need to seal it yourself. The only other places I saw it leaking are around the bottom edges, and those aren't seam sealed. So everywhere where they actually seam sealed, besides these crotches, because those are seam sealed. When a company seam seals a tent and then it leaks, it kind of worries me that I won't be able to seam seal that myself for longevity use. You know, like you're gonna have to reapply seam sealer to these spots almost annually, maybe multi-annually or semi-annually. Yeah, semi-annually. Just to make sure that your tent doesn't leak on you. But at least we know now where it needs to be sealed. Yeah, guys, let me know in the comments down below. What do you guys think? Did it pass? Did it fail? I kind of think it passed because it only leaks in the spots. Okay, so wait, I was talking about the bottom. So the bottom was leaking only at the bottom seam. There was no water coming down from these middle seams. From these middle seams, these were all dry. Stove jack, before I forget about that. Stove jack was dry, didn't leak once. And the water was hitting that almost constantly the whole time, besides when the wind was blowing the water around. So all the little guy out spots on the bottom, all these little guy out spots, none of this is seam sealed. And every one of those were leaking, as well as this bottom edge that's supposed to be touching the ground. So Luxe did tell us that those problematic spots need to be seam sealed. So I'm gonna seam seal those up. I'm gonna test it myself to see how it does after I try to waterproof it myself. Do you guys wanna see that? Let me know. Do you guys wanna see me seam seal this and then test it again? Or is this test good enough for you guys? I don't know what you wanna see, so let me know what you wanna see. And that's gonna about do it for this video, guys. So if you like this sort of thing, think about hitting the subscribe button. I'll leave it right here in the middle. Thanks for joining me on this one. I'll see you on the next one. Next one, I'll be in the woods camping.